UCLA will soon release a batch of new graduates, armed with 4 years worth of Bruin experience. DBTV sits down with Matt Griffin and Stephen Greenwood, who shares their own journeys in self-discovery through education.
When I studied abroad, I mean, obviously everything changes your life. The reason I woke up at 10:30 instead of 11 probably changed my life today. But when I went abroad, I really found, a purpose in my education, because I was studying Spanish, and the fact that I was studying Spanish propelled me to go to Spain. So in that sense, I really found a reason why I was studying what I was studying, that there was such an applicability to what I was studying. When I was exploring those avenues, I happened to stumble on an internship that my program director found that was with Variety magazine, which is a Los Angeles-based magazine that covers entertainment news. And I was like, hey, I could do that. I came to Spain, maybe I miss LA, so it was this weird, I lived in LA, then I came to Spain to work for a company that's based in LA, so it was this weird worldly, here, there sort of moment. But when I started working for it, I really started to love what I was doing. I loved having deadlines, I loved writing, I loved the lifestyle that the magazine provided. I went to the Cannes Film Festival, I got to do all this cool stuff and talk to all these people in English and Spanish, even Portuguese sometimes, because I studied in Brazil and spoke Portuguese before that. So Spain, in a sense, concretely changed my path, because I took a plane to get there. But also, it changed my path because it was the first time that I realized I could do something I loved, and the first time that I knew that I, didn't have to do what I thought I had to do. So I came to learn to be a multilingual lawyer, and I left realizing that I not only didn't want to do that, but that there were so many other things that I could do, and that maybe I just, had the tip of the iceberg of what I was actually capable of.
I applied to the film school with the intent that I was going to direct films and work in Hollywood. And as soon as I kind of started to get a glimpse, when I started interning at companies and started to see what the industry was all about, I realized that I didn't want to stay in Hollywood forever, probably not live in Los Angeles for a long time. And when it came time for my senior year to choose a concentration, I chose documentary because I realized that that would allow me to travel and to follow subjects that I'm passionate about, and subjects that can really change social elements. So this summer I'm actually going to Tanzania for 6 months to work with a UCLA group called One Heart Source, and they are building an orphanage there. And we're going to be following the construction of the orphanage and also comparing it to the state-run orphanage that Tanzania has, which has limited funding. They only have $4,500 per year to operate their orphanage. So it's going to be a comparison of what people can do 6,000 miles away in 1 year with the money that they have, compared to the funding that this entire government has and how they're misappropriating it, basically. Los Angeles is an interesting city for me. It doesn't make sense in its layout. I grew up in San Diego, which has a central downtown, lots of beaches, lots of coastline, and LA is kind of just all spread out. I like places that have easy transportation and in an urban center that you can go hang out with people, and Los Angeles doesn't really have that. So for me, I really want to get away from Los Angeles just to kind of escape that, the feeling of isolation, I guess. There's a lot of isolation in Los Angeles. You go from your apartment to your car, to your job, whatever you do. And in other cities, you're taking public transportation, you're hanging out in urban centers, parks, whatever, and there's just really not that kind of cohesive feel in Los Angeles, I guess.
By my second year, I was like, I like being here more than I like being home. So it was just kind of this weird transition, because I remember my freshman year, I was so excited to go home for Thanksgiving and see all my friends. I was like, oh my God, we're gonna go see each other again. We're gonna be together like old times. And then I ran home. And then now when I'm home, I'm like, God, I want to get back to UCLA as soon as possible. I can't be here anymore. And so you really feel that shift. And once I felt that shift my second year, I was like, this is where I belong.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that your undergraduate major doesn't necessarily decide what you're going to do in life. And that's important. But I also think that what the great thing was about, for me, for film studies, was the critical studies element of it, and just becoming a critical thinker in everything that you do. I think that's a lot of what your undergraduate degree is about, is training your mind to analyze things and to be able to apply that to many different subjects. The film major requires that you take a lot of different general education classes that you normally wouldn't in any other major. And I think that's great because you actually learn to be able to mold this one basic concept of critical thinking to many different applications. And I think that carries on throughout, wherever you go in life. I think I'm closer on the path to finding who I am. I think that what I'm excited about is after college is applying the things that I've learned here. I don't ever think that I'll find who I am because it's always a learning process, it's always a journey, and that's what I'm excited about. But I can definitely take the experiences from the people that I've met here and from the experience that I've had here and apply those to when I go travel to Tanzania, to when I'm studying abroad, working abroad, moving to New York, who knows, But UCLA has allowed me to become a more open-minded thinker, and I really appreciate that, and I'm grateful for that. I just hope that I'll have the opportunity to pursue applying that in other places for the rest of my life.
There's kind of a security that UCLA gives you, and you hear there's certain regrets that you hear or that you feel like maybe I should have gone to Berkeley, maybe I would have loved Berkeley. But I'm like, why would I even say that? Like, I am a UCLA graduate and I am so happy to be one, and there's nowhere else that could provide me what UCLA has provided me, because I grew with UCLA, so my identity is UCLA, and it's nowhere else, and it can be nowhere else.